Nice hat.
Oh, thank you.
I'm glad you got to enjoy watching two drunk idiots talk on, for hours.
Oh, it
It's
was
fine.
entertaining. I think people would have loved that episode.
Well,
Not that I'm
we can
not
all,
still drinking bourbon, but
yeah,
I'm having hot cocoa tonight, honey.
yeah, yeah. I'm not drinking bourbon either.
Yeah.
I'm,
Um,
I intend to finish the bottle that I started on when we were talking last time. So,
yeah, give it a proper send off.
oh yeah.
That actually makes me think of a friend of mine posted a Instagram reel a few days ago. It was Gary the barbecue chef reel where don't know if you're familiar with him. Yeah, he was doing a video about like the what do they call it, a forever bottle or whatever, where you just pour your little last when you have a little left in the bottom of a bottle to so you pour all those different bourbons together. Well, he said he
Oh
was going to keep
yeah.
it to bourbons because that's you don't want to mix all the different kinds of liquor together. But well, I mean, I suppose some people would. I wouldn't because that would
Some
be
people
gross.
do.
But
You know, Stale Cracker. I know you know who he is. It's the guy from Louisiana who has the long
oh yeah,
blonde.
okay. I had to
Yeah,
think
and
about
he
it for a second.
makes a lot of Cajun food and stuff. And
Yeah.
anyway, he had this. I don't know if he's still doing it, but he's got this thing where people will send him bottles of whiskey, and he's got a barrel. I mean, a big like a whiskey cask, and he will pour the bottle in and draw out and fill the bottle again. The
That's
same
kind of
amount,
cool, actually.
and then he puts a label on it, and since it's not the same bottle, he puts his own
Yeah.
label on it. Of course, he can't sell it or do anything with it,
Yeah,
but he keeps it for his own use. And
yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I mean, when you
but
think about it.
he, people send him some really high dollar bottles of bourbon or whiskey, and he'll dump it in there with all the other stuff. And so you
Yeah.
got, $150 bottle of, of whiskey that he's dumping in with stuff that's probably like $25 bottles of hooch and rot gut. So
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that's an interesting uh concept to say the least. And if anybody would like to send me bottles of whiskey, send it to P.O. Box. I don't have one yet, but I'm that now that I said it, I think I probably should.
yeah,
I'm not giving out my address as much as I would love free whiskey.
yeah, I had I had a PO box up until very recently, and the problem was it was like half a mile, 2 miles from my house. It's like
Yeah.
that really isn't, far enough away.
Yeah, it's not far. It's far. It's close enough where it could be a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. If I got a PO box, I would actually probably get it in Joliet because that's far enough away from my house where I wouldn't be skeeved out about it.
yeah.
But it's close enough where it wouldn't be massively inconvenient. A 20-minute drive or whatever. It's not terrible. But like I said, it's also not in the same town. So
Yeah.
there's five options from where that post office within 20 minutes. So take your guess.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of nowhere, so I'd have to drive at least an hour to get to any large populated area to do something like that
Oh,
would
that'd
be
be nice.
abstracted enough that people couldn't just figure it out. So,
Yeah. Like I said, I'd be okay with that. This area used to be more remote, but urban sprawl's a thing, and unfortunately,
yeah,
we got a whole lot of people from Chicago that were like, "Hey, we're going to move out to the county." Like, no, keep going, go farther out, go away. You're not in the county here. This is like when I moved out here, I could sit out on the back porch, have a smoke, and listen to the grasshoppers and look at the stars. Now you can't really see the stars anymore because there's too many friggin' people with their yard lights on, and I can still listen to grasshoppers and smoke. And
yeah,
the and actually we still got the same block that's been there since I lived here. You go a block over from us, and it's a giant field. So at least it's got remote feelings to it. Now the funny thing was, the first year I moved out here, the farmer that owns all that property, he we did not know this when I first moved out here, but he put like stadium lights around his house, around the barn,
mm,
because he was we have like a dog pack here that he was having problems with. They're getting in, killing his livestock. So in the fall, it's usually when they get aggressive, so, when the food starts scarcing up. So
Yeah.
first or the second fall I was living out here, I'm sitting out back having a cigarette because I used to still smoke back then, like cigarettes. So I was out back having a cigarette. It's like 10 o'clock at night. All of a sudden the horizon lights up and I'm like, what the hell is that? And this was shortly after the assault weapons ban expired. And so all of a sudden we hear pop,
Uh,
pop, 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 pop. I'm like, that's small caliber automatic weapon fire. What
yeah.
the hell is going on here? And yeah, it turns out he just got tired of wild dogs killing his livestock. So he decided to do something about it. And his solution was put up two big old light poles full of stadium lights. There's, I mean, it's what's six lights per pole, so a dozen floodlights that flooded his yard and lit the horizon up like Christmas. And I'm guessing it was probably an AR, based on the sound, an AR
Might
with an
be.
FRT or a bump stock, one of the two. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was also 20 years ago. So it, now, unfortunately, in Illinois, you can't have those again. So dag
Yeah.
nabbit.
Well, that could very well change.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
It's in the works.
We're,
So I've read that
yep.
they
Oh,
may
I'm
be overturning that.
yeah, that would be lovely. I would be very happy. The guys in my local gun shop would be very happy.
Yeah, I bet so.
They oh well yeah, they're it's it's like three guys, they're all vets. They're, good dudes. One guy's really talented smith. Um he's fixed a couple things for me over the years, and yeah, I would love to see them be able to get back to selling everything they used to sell there because I mean, I've bought a lot of guns from them. And
Yeah.
and the thing is, I mostly stick to the used section when I shop there. I mean, it is what it is, but they are so good about cleaning and vetting and everything that walks in the door. There's no loose parts. There's no springs that need to be replaced. Nothing, and you could get a decent piece for half of what it costs brand new. And sometimes we get really cool things where like people are selling off their collections, or dad died and the kids don't want the guns or whatever. And I got uh, I got a couple of 9 millimeters there, and so they'll do sales sometimes too, which is my favorite because they do like Memorial Day. They do buy one get one half price.
Hmm.
So, Memorial Day happens to fall right around my anniversary every year too. So, it's like, hey, look, they're having a buy one get one sale. I should go buy us a couple of guns for our anniversary, and so I do.
Us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my wife's particular. She likes wheel guns, so. And it's kind of
Well,
funny because I said that to somebody and they're like, women can shoot automatics good too. I'm like, oh no, believe me, I've been pushing her for years. Like, carry something with a magazine, you get more rounds. And she's like, I like what I like. Okay. But on the other side of that, she's not carrying like a 22 wheel gun or even a 38. Her purse gun's a 357. If she could, she'd take my 44 Magnum out with her places because she likes shooting that because she's psychotic. I mean, very confident and secure. Yeah, I don't think she heard that. But no,
yeah.
no, she likes wheel guns. She's friggin' Annie Oakley, wheel guns and lever guns. I'm like, and I can't be mad at that because I like lever guns too, and I like wheel guns. They're fun, but my EDC is, a semi. Just
Hmm.
need the extra rounds. Although,
Yeah.
I was actually, that's the other funny thing is in the last year, I probably haven't bought any firearms, but I've had to go to my local gun guys a few times because I've guns I win. And I'm like, all right, another free gun. And I show up and they're like, the one guy was like, this is like the third time you've been in here. I'm like, it's the second time I've been in here picking up a gun I didn't buy here. He's like, well, where are you buying? Are you going to like Gun Broker or something? I'm like, no, dude, I'm winning these from contests off of X. Really? Yeah, really.
You just need the podcast to take off, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that would be phenomenal. The podcast took off, or I've been coerced since last week into committing to start doing more video content too. So I'm gonna start doing cooking videos and
There you go.
yeah,
You've been commanded.
I have been commanded and I'm gonna do it because why not? You know, I mean, I actually had somebody float an idea which I thought was hilarious because it's a good idea and I like it. Of I should, and there's no shortage of people that are already like taking cooking videos off of other people's streams and then duetting them and critiquing them or whatever. But one of my listeners said what you should do is start the video, critique the video, and then show people how to make the dish right. And I was like,
Huh.
okay, there's an interesting spin on this, but you got to do it an Aaron way where you're calling them all kinds of smooth brain retards and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's probably going to fall under the critique part of the video. And then and somebody proceeded to send me a video of, and I've seen other videos from this lady. It's got to be rage bait. It's got to be a troll. It's got to be. There's no way this woman is serious that this is what the stuff she's preparing for her husband after he's been at work for 10 hours in the oil rigs and shit. Because it's like, you know, pan fried stuff that shouldn't be pan fried and like making macaroni without putting water, without cooking the macaroni and cheese first, and just it's
Ooh,
all
crunchy macaroni.
disgusting. Yeah, and I'm like, what would you do if you came home from 12 hours of work and this was dinner? Making dinner for my man after he's been in the oil fields all day, and it's like, I pray to God you're not actually feeding him that shit. You're going to kill him. Everything's fried.
Or vice versa.
Yeah, or well, yeah. But it's like, the one they sent me is a literally an entire canned ham. Takes the canned ham out of the can with a spatula, drops it into like 3 inches of oil, fries it on one side, flips it over, drowns it in ketchup, puts American cheese on top of it, puts a couple eggs in the oil while the ham is frying in it. I'm like, and like the stove is filthy and there's just shit everywhere. And I'm just like, this has to be one of those like there's no such thing as bad attention. I'm gonna get some attention situations because it's
who
just
who makes deep
horrendous.
fried eggs? I mean,
I mean, I've done it. I'm not gonna lie. I've done it when I was trying to get a bunch of fried eggs out in a pinch, and I actually literally did it in a deep fryer.
huh,
I was cracking eggs into a deep fryer because I needed like 40 fried eggs right away, and the griddle was full of pancakes. So
hmm.
when you need to improvise, sometimes you got to get creative. But for normal people to do that shit, no, it doesn't make any sense. So
Well, I tried it once in my younger years, and all I ended up with was a giant ball of egg
yeah,
full of
I mean
full of
that's
grease.
actually it's going to be a big greasy ball because the whites
Yep.
cook and expand and then they surround the yolk. But the way you do it if you want to get it done quick is you just flash them in there and then pull them out just to cook the outsides and then you put them in a pan and you throw them in a warmer so they finish cooking in the warmer.
Oh,
So yeah, you can't cook them all the way through in the fryer or else they just turn into a big puff and that
yep.
doesn't work. But
Egg puffs. That sounds appetizing.
yeah. Although I actually have a great recipe for like an egg puff thing that's actually not bad at all because it's eggs and cheese and you just blend it together and you put them in muffin tins and you bake them. And those are actually pretty damn tasty because when I was trying to do keto for a while, that was a snack for me was I'd make, a dozen of them at a time and then just pop them in the fridge. And then when I get hungry, I'd pull one out and nosh on it.
Yeah.
And they don't taste bad. And it's a little bit of pan spray in the muffin tins, and then I got silicone muffin tins, so I didn't even have to spray them. Bacon and sausage and cheese, and it's a little breakfast in a bite,
Hmm.
but not horrible. But anywho's it.
Yep.
So seeing as
So one of the things that we talked about, what I will now lovingly refer to as the lost episode.
it's an accurate title.
So we talked about the book behind you last time, The
That
Glass
one there,
Factory.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Braxton McCoy. That's I finished it since we spoke last.
I have not.
Yeah,
I need to, but
yeah.
yeah.
So,
Well, I
spoiler
know
alert,
I know
he
the ending. He
lives.
lives, yeah.
Yeah, he lives.
But
But Yeah, I I ended up making a post on X, which he didn't actually respond to, but that wasn't what it was for. And I think we covered this last time. And the one thing I wanted to say about it is I was really surprised at how cerebral that book is in comparison to what you think it's going to be. I know people get some preconceived notions, and there's a lot of folks that are have experiences, and they write a book about them, and you expect it to be something completely different,
Yeah. Kind of
or
self-aggrandizing and
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
dumb.
and it's the the language he uses is eloquent, far
Oh, for
more
sure.
than you think it's going to be. And I've never seen anybody have half page footnotes on he feels the need to go into detail in certain areas, and it's it was surprising to me. I really didn't think that I was going to see that, but I actually enjoyed it. And so
Yeah.
I know he's done some other writing. Uh, so I'm actually going to probably try to find some other stuff that he's done.
Run
And
down some other stuff. Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to go down the rabbit hole and see if I can find some of his other work.
And it ought to be interesting. I'll have to keep me posted on that one
Yeah,
because I do love me a good read. Um,
yeah.
it's actually got a
I
couple things on my current list of just stuff I need to pick up at some point. Just a couple different books. So the one you referred to me about the the
Joe. Yep.
Jack Mormon Joe. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
my
Yep.
brain is trying to find the gears there. A little stripped.
Yep.
Uh,
That's a different one. Yet you'll that's I don't want to spoil it, but I'll tell you. Well, two things. One, it's not a memoir. That it's he's not
yeah,
that he's very very upfront about that. That it's not it's not a memoir.
this is
It's
a story, not a
it's
memoir.
the yeah, and it does not go anywhere near where you think it's going to. So I'll tell you that.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's crazy interesting. Um, it 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 headed down a path I was not expecting, and so
Well, that's cool.
I think that so
Um,
I like a good surprise. You think something's going to go a certain way, and it goes a completely different direction. It's absolutely makes it worth its while.
well, that's excellent. Yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to that. It's like I said, it's on my list now. I got a few titles that are, and they're all over the place too. There's
Oh
one that
yeah,
was recommended to me about uh, the art of storytelling, and I'm like, I already tell pretty good stories. Like, yeah, but you could tell them better. You need to read this. And then there's one. It's a book about entrepreneurship that a friend of mine suggested I read because he's like, everything that this guy talks about that stops people from being successful in business sounds like the shit you say about yourself. You need to go read this guy's book. And I'm like, all right, because I don't need to be guilt tripped into these things.
yeah,
But my friend who suggested that is also not wrong because I'm sure that's probably the case. I am my own biggest stumbling block on a lot of things. So
yeah,
I get a lot of ideas where it's like I could do this, but then I talk myself out of it, and it's like I should just pull the trigger. I mean,
yeah,
like with this podcast, I talked about doing a podcast since 2014. Didn't actually launch one until COVID, and I had nothing else to do, and the wife made me do it. So,
yeah. Well, I think recognizing opportunity and understanding um, the right time to take risk is some of those things. It's like I'm not a risk averse human being, which is often to my detriment. I I often take unnecessary risks, uh, and have a kind of a shotgun approach to
yeah,
trying to be successful. I'll try all kinds of things at the same time and just all
yeah,
over the place. So
yeah.
it's
See,
it's one of those
I'm
things.
the exact opposite. I'm the very calculated. Although I not as much recently. I've been taking broader swaths lately. I think part of that probably has to do with like my kid being grown and out of the wheelhouse of things I have to be as concerned about anymore. That I've noticed that has made me a little more willing to be a little more cavalier with how I'm handling things now. So
Yeah, it not having other people's actual lives to be directly responsible for. It's like I don't feed this kid, they'll die.
yep.
Kind of things.
Yeah,
But
it's like I said, it's amazing how that changes perspective on things because yeah, it's definitely a shift. Although I got to be honest, that kind of started right around the time where, like I say, got out of high school and started being a little more independent, and you know, he handled himself admirably. I gotta, like I said, he smarter than me. He's managed to stay out of all the trouble I got in. So,
yeah, I heard that.
and yeah, and although it was actually kind of funny, there's a couple of cases of things I said and did when he and his friends were growing up that did come back and bite me in the ass. Like, you have those parent milestones where like you bust him with some dope or whatever, and it's
Yeah,
like, and one of his buddies at one point, I was like, look, guys, just don't don't be stupid about it. Don't get caught. I'm not gonna lecture you about doing this, that, and the other. I said, if I didn't have to worry about being a job, I'd probably be half stoned myself, blah blah blah, just saying these things. And then when they legalized recreational marijuana in Illinois, sure as hell one of his friends shows up New Year's Day at like 9 a.m. because he went to the dispensary as soon as it opened, shows up with a bag of weed and goes, "Hey pop, it's legal now." And I was like,
uh,
"Ah." Like, not where I work.
not federally.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, now I personally myself, I don't partake, but I don't judge those who do. That's what it boils down to. I don't care. I've worked with alcoholics. I've worked with guys that did enough blow to kill Tony Montana. I work with people. As long as you're functional and professional and clean while you're on the clock, I don't care what you do on your own time. That's none of my business. So, you know,
Yeah,
but
it,
that might just be me too. That's like, I mean, one of the best cooks I ever hired was a friggin' ex-con, and
mhm,
nobody wanted to take a chance on this guy. And he told me as much in the interview. He's like, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. Can you call my PO and let him know I was in here, even though I'm not getting the job and blah blah blah. I said, who said you're not getting the job? And he's like,
yeah,
well, that guy's looking at me like, blah blah blah. I said, yeah, but it's not up to him who gets this job. It's up to me who gets this job. You answer to me, not him.
yeah,
I answer to him, but that doesn't change the fact that I still run my house how I want. And I said, you served your time. You didn't do anything that was terrible. You were young and you made a stupid decision and you want to turn your shit around. If as long as you're sincere, I'm going to give you a chance. Don't disappoint me because if you screw me over, I'll call your PO myself. And he was
right.
just like, thanks, man. Turned out to be one of the best employees I ever hired. Just super appreciative that somebody gave him a shot. Decent job. I mean, it wasn't great money. It wasn't life-changing money, but it was a decent paycheck for somebody that's been out of jail for 6 weeks. And
Well, I mean, pretty much any paycheck is a decent paycheck if you're not in jail.
yeah, so, but, like I said, I mean, because we did pay more than, standard entry-level jobs in the area. So I was just like, don't make me regret this. And he was like, well, no, don't worry, chef. I'm not gonna let you down. Blah blah blah. I said, no, seriously, don't make me regret it because I'll beat your ass and then call your PO.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm like, yeah, no, no, that's the kind of guy you just decided to come work for. And he's just like, all right, I can respect, man. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever, little hood motherfucker. But like I said, turned out to be one of the best employees that I had. I mean, didn't have to tell him twice on nothing. Didn't have to argue with him. I told him what I expected from him, and the one time he was kind of like, well, why are you giving me all this extra work? I said, because I trust you to do it right. I said, this is not an insult. This is not me bagging on you. It's these guys are fucking clowns and you will do the job the way I want it done. I
yep,
said, it's not an insult. It's a compliment. And after that, anytime I asked him to do anything, it was, yes, chef, I got you, chef. No problem, chef. And it got done and it got done well and it got done right. And if he didn't know what he was doing, he would ask. That
yeah,
is a skill I cannot emphasize enough to anybody that might be younger that hears this. If you don't know what you're doing, don't fake it. Go ask.
No.
It's much better to admit you don't know something.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the fake it till you make it mentality. I don't
Yeah,
know who came
no.
up with that idea, but it there are some things that you can probably get by with, with faking, but when it comes to experience and when you're going to have something at the end of your process that people can judge.
Yeah, if there's a tangible thing that is
Yeah,
the result of your work.
there are some things that you can get away with that. Cooking or something. It's probably not going to work out for you. You know,
Not
unless you're just unless you're just really, really naturally talented, you're probably not going to fake that. And
probably not. Or if you're in a situation where people they don't care, they just want bodies because
right.
that happens in the service industry a lot, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, I mean, people, somebody's got to wash the dishes and stuff.
Oh
I mean,
yeah, somebody's got to wash the dishes. Somebody's got to, you don't need a whole lot of talent to be like on a plate line.
right, yeah,
It's
so,
here's the size scoop you use. You put
yeah,
it here on the plate. You do this
right,
over and over again till all the plates are done.
right.
Hey,
So,
I mean,
but anything that requires any actual talent or knowledge, you're probably not going to be able to fake it for very long.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I've been faking it for 25 years, so one of these days I might figure it out. But
Yeah,
actually, I like to think I'm actually pretty good at what I do, so could be wrong.
well,
Depends
yeah,
on who you ask. At one point, shortly after I moved in with the wife, when we started shacking up before we got hitched, um, one night, and I was working weird shifts, so I got home at like 1:30, and I literally just gone to bed. It was like Friday night, about well, technically Saturday morning, but like around bar time, around last call, and I just gone to bed, and I was decompressing, just starting to fall asleep. My phone starts ringing, and I'm like, nobody calls me at 2:30 in the morning unless it's an emergency. And I pick it up and I don't recognize the number, so I'm like, I don't think that's jail. I don't think that's my brother. Hello? And it's some guy looking for some chick.
mm,
I'm like, dude, she's not here. You got the wrong number. Click, hang up on him. About 30 seconds later, he calls me back again. Dude, I know she's there. I know this is her phone number. I'm like, okay, some girl at the bar gave you a fake phone number, bro. It's not some girl at the bar. This is my girl's phone. Why do you have her phone? And refused to acknowledge that it wasn't his girl's phone that he was calling. And so finally, I'm like, look, dude, you got the wrong fucking number. You're drunk. Look at the phone. Try again. And I hung up on him. And he called me back a third time. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, she is here, but her mouth's full, so she can't talk right now. Fuck off. And I hung up on him. I don't know if I caused somebody to get shot or
mm,
some poor girl got smacked around because her drunk boyfriend thought she was with some guy, but he didn't call back.
mercy. I had a
Yeah.
very similar situation happen to me one time. I've got a really, really old Gmail address. It's really short. And people, it's just my initials and my last name. And people will accidentally, like people with the same last name, will accidentally use that email account. It's almost always some old person will give their email and they'll mess up the email address and say it wrong or whatever. And I started getting emails from this guy, this random guy, who thought he was emailing his grandmother. And he would email and I just ignored it. I was like, it's an accident. I'm not gonna deal with this guy. Well, he started getting a little frantic. So I was like, I don't understand why this guy wasn't calling his grandmother,
Yeah. Pick up a
concerned.
phone, check on
He's like,
grandma.
but some people just don't want to actually have a conversation with somebody. I don't know why, but he's like, you're not answering. I want to, are you okay and everything? And I finally was like, look, you've got the wrong email account. It's like I'm not your grandma. And he's like, well, if you're not my grandma, how do you have her email address? how are you how are you answering her email? I was like, you've got the wrong email account, man.
Yep.
That's how I've got it because it's not hers, it's mine. And he's like, no, that's how did you get access to her computer? So I finally got it. I took a picture of myself and sent it back to him. I was like, do I look like your grandmother? And so,
And he was
and
like,
that's when
well, a
he
little
finally
bit.
left me alone. That's when he finally left me alone. It was like,
Yeah.
stop it. I
Just just
had
just stop.
somebody had ordered their elderly mother one of those digital picture frames
Yep.
and loaded up a bunch of pictures, and they used my email address to register the thing
Oh, geez.
on accident. And so I get the registration email and everything, and they're going through the whole process, and there was no verification of the address, obviously, because
Yeah. So,
it just you just put it in, and then that's your login. And I was like, man, I could be really, really mean if I
yeah, you
wanted to.
really
It's like
could.
I could upload all kinds of stuff to this thing, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be that guy. I had to resist the urge. In my younger days,
Yeah,
their little picture
I was
frame
gonna
would
say
have been
you
displaying
might
all
you might be
kinds
a
of neat
better
things.
man than me because I've
Yeah,
been like, oh
I don't.
my, look at that fella.
Yeah, I don't. That's just that me and my in my older days here, getting old, a little older in years, and I was like, you know what?
Little
I
tamer
would.
now.
I don't think I'd want somebody doing that to my mom. It's like, it's. I don't know. It's. But I every now and then I'll get an email, random email from that service that runs
Yeah.
it, and I have to resist again because
Like,
no, you haven't uploaded a picture in a while. You should upload something, and I have to resist the urge to send
yeah, I
something.
should.
Uh,
You're uploading some dead woman's picture frame.
oh man, yeah, it's
Yeah.
another thing we covered in our lost episode. We so people will probably wonder
Yeah,
how this came
I was
about.
actually just about to say that as so even though you and I've already had this conversation,
Yes,
for
yes,
everyone who's never going to hear the lost episode,
correct.
let's hash out how we wound up getting linked up here. So
All
we're
right. So let me spin the yarn. So I can start off with the beginning, the very beginning. Um, so let's go back to about January of this year. I mentioned earlier, kind of I've been in working in the firearms industry a little bit here and there for quite some time since I want to say I don't know mid early teen 2005 2006 somewhere around in there. My memory doesn't serve me, but I got a federal firearms license like we were speaking about for you earlier, and was running a home based business and doing transfers and whatnot, which is how I got my experience with the USPS and losing guns in the mail because federal firearms licensees can mail pistols. That's
yeah.
the only people who are allowed by federal law to mail handguns. There's a little form you fill out and everything. But so I'd gotten involved in the firearms industry as a dealer and was doing like estate sales and stuff, selling guns for people who I had an elderly couple. The gentleman was in the early stages of dementia, and the kids didn't want the collection, and he had built up a big collection of guns and stuff. And so I sold them on consignment, things of that nature. And after a while, I was like, I think this it's a good idea to get into the ammunition reloading business and all this other stuff. So after a while, I decided it's like I'm gonna start going to SHOT Show, and I almost went off on a tangent there. We'll get back to that story in a little bit, but so I'm like I'm gonna start going to SHOT Show. This is gonna be a great idea. Just like gonna go and the biggest for anybody who doesn't know, it's the big shooting, hunting, and outdoor expo or outdoor trade show. It's the biggest gun show in the country or in the world, probably. Tens of thousands of people, probably close to 100,000 people a year go to this thing. Everybody, and you have to be an industry person. You have to have credentials to get in, and they all converge every January on Las Vegas. Uh, and so I started going to that. Well, my youngest son, I decided that I wanted him to take over the firearms dealership part and start doing that as just something for him and me to do together. So I decided to take him to his first one, last year or this year, early in January. So when we were there, um, he was talking about, Brandon Herrera and the Unsubscribed podcast and all that stuff. I had no idea at the time who he was talking about. And you run into all kinds of celebrities of every type. I've met quite a few people. You run into them in the crowd. I met Ted Nugent last last January. I mean, that's one of those things, you just run into this person. It's like there's a big crowd following them.
Yeah.
Come to find out it's Ted.
Like,
But
oh, it's the
so
Motor
he's
City Madman. Jeez.
absolutely, so he's talking about, he had wanted to get some sort of sticker or something made of some military medal or something. I had no idea what he's talking about. And I kind of blew it off. Wasn't concerned about it. I'm like, I don't want to go see one of your dumb podcast people that you watch. I don't care about that. It's not my thing. Uh, so we go, we have our good time, we leave. And then randomly, I don't, it's, all of our phones listen to us all the time. And I don't know how I ended up stumbling upon it, but I started watching the Fat Electrician. Now, I'm kind of a history guy. I like history quite a bit. And he covers a lot of stuff about, historical events and people and, war heroes and various and sundry other things. And I was watching these things on YouTube, and, you get to the little quack bang grenade at the beginning of his
Whack.
episodes. Yeah. And my son would walk through the room and he's like, "Oh, it's unsub." And he just keep on going. And I was like, it never occurred to me what he was trying to say. And I was like, what the he came through one time. It's like, I don't know, what are you talking about, unsub? This guy, this is clearly not the podcast you're talking about. And he's like, no, that guy's on another podcast that I watch that I told you about. And I was like, oh, so I like go look it up and I start watching it. So I've already binge watched all of the Fat Electrician stuff. And I start binge watching the post baddie years on Unsubscribe. And the uh, the episode where Eli tries to pin his Purple Heart on Brandon comes along, and it's like I was like, oh, this is hilarious. This stuff right here is comedy gold, especially as like
Yeah,
angsty
he was he
as
was just
Brandon
no
got about it.
no.
No, get that stolen valor away from me. So, it goes for a while. I'm watching it and everything. And it's like, I've always been one of those people that if I don't have some sort of creative outlet, I start losing my mind. And I really didn't have anything going on. We'll get to it later, I'm sure, but I'd already built up and sold a business that was giving me that creative outlet. And I didn't really have anything. So, I was looking for something to do. Actually, tried to get him to start a podcast with me because I was just looking for something to do. He wanted no part of that. So after a while, I was like, you know what? I think I've got a great idea. I'm kind of a creative guy. I've got got some stuff, and I have some technology background. It's like, you know what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start writing fanfic, you know, historical fiction about Brandon Herrera and how he won all of his medals. And at the time, I had no idea that people on like Reddit were doing the same thing. And but all of their stories are like as outlandish as you could possibly come up with. I mean, it's just off the wall. And I was like, I got to take another shot. I got to take a shot at this. And what I want to do is I want to make it where it's sort of believable and they're based on real events, but they're events that he couldn't possibly have been, right? So I started creating these stories and AI art, pictures to represent, give people an idea about what the background of the story is. And my first story was about him fighting in a battle in World War One, and his weapon is a spoon. And came up with it. It's really short. Came up with it, and I was like, oh, that's funny. It's like, yeah, I was chuckling when I did it. So I created a website and posted that up there. And then I made another and another. And then after a little while, I was like, oh, I know how I'm going to do this. It's like, it's not just random stuff. Because some of it at the time weren't really, some of them weren't really based on a real thing. It wasn't as realistic as I like. But after a few of those, I'm like, I know what I'm going to do. It's like, I'm going to post stories. They're going to be about, real battles that Americans could have, been in or were in. Only wins, right? It's only battles that the United States fought in or Americans fought in, and then they won. And
Yeah.
every single episode is going to be essentially Brandon Herrera Forrest Gumping his way through history and somehow or another playing a pivotal role in the win that America, got, and he'll receive some medal or something in the process. So I started this back, I want to say February, right? February, March of this year, um, and built it up over time. And then it was mentioned. Somebody found it, and on I think it was Eli had found it, and they mentioned that my website on kind of consensual, and it kind of got a little bit of action from that community. Hey, by the way, drink.
Yep.
So it gave me the bug. You get a little bit of
Yeah.
that little flash. You see your analytics go nuts. I had a couple thousand people hit my website. I was like, oh damn, I know what I want to do now. This is great. And so I I kept on going. I think it was Rich. I was like, oh, there's like 30. You just keep scrolling, and it's like there was probably maybe 15
Yeah.
episodes on it. So I was trying to come up with a way to bring this back around. First of all, I was trying to come up with a way to gin up a little bit more action, and a lot of people were doing giveaways. Some of the guys in Unsub were giving it. I think like Bad Electrician gave away a freaking like Jeep Gladiator at one
Yep.
point. It's like everybody was doing that. I mean, there's Kentucky Ballistics gave away a Trans Am, like a '76 Trans Am. Everybody's done something along. It's like I don't have a Trans Am or a Gladiator to give away, but I do have some merchandise that I've started making, some T-shirts and stuff, hats and whatnot. So like I'm gonna have a contest, and so I made an X post because that was the only social media account that I'd created uh, for my content and everything. And I posted like anybody who does X, Y, and Z, you're entered into a contest and you're gonna win an item off our merchandise store. And like 3 people entered this contest, and you were one of them.
Yep.
So I think I said it. Well, I think it was somewhere around June. I want to say I can't remember exactly what when it was, but I was like, I forgot that I had created this contest, and lo and behold, the month I was supposed to do the drawing came up, and I was like, I forgot all about it. So I went and looked, and it's like didn't have anybody enter it. So you do the whole I'm gonna pick whoever won it, and you do the whole random number generator, do all the garbage and stuff, and you got picked. So
Yep.
I hit you up on X. I was like, hey man, you won the contest that I was running. What do you want? And so you picked the Emotions of Brandon Herrera t-shirt that I had made, which I thought was going to be an absolute smash. Side note on this, nobody orders my merchandise. It's like I've sold like
I
2 shirts and a
I can
hat.
sympathize with that for
Yeah,
for what it's worth. I have sold 3 coffee mugs, one of which was to me. Um, because I kind of did the same thing. I did a giveaway and I was like, okay, well, who wants to enter to win the coffee mug? And it was like they had like 4 people. And I was just
yeah,
like, all right, guess what? Here's a mug. And it was this girl and she's like, well, how do I get it? And I'm like, you give me your address and then it comes from the manufacturer to your
right,
house.
yeah.
And and
So
she's like, well, that's kind of sketchy. And I'm like, what's sketchy about it? I'm
It's
not,
it's coming from a business.
it's coming from a business. I said, I mean, I suppose I could ask if they do gift cards
Yeah,
because that was before I actually went with my current manufacturer who does do gift cards.
yeah.
But
Mine does
um,
not, because I
yeah,
was
well,
going to
no,
go that
this
route
was
too.
a case of because I just like everybody that started a podcast during COVID, I set up a print on demand shop
Absolutely.
with T Public and was just like, yep, well, here's the link. I don't know how to pay for it without you telling me where to send it.
Yeah,
And I said, and if I pay for it as a customer, I pay more than if I pay for it as the creator. So I'd really prefer to do it this way.
right.
Well, how do I know you're not gonna show up and stalk me? I'm like, I'm old enough to be your father. I'm married and I have no fucking interest in driving across the country to harass some random chick.
Yeah,
I said, if you don't trust me, I'll give it to somebody else. And she's like, oh no, that's fine. So she's like, I trust you. I'm like, okay, good, thank you. So I
yep,
like, here's your coffee mug. And then there was a guy that bought one who I actually kind of poached him from another show. I mean, I not entirely, but he was a fan of another podcast that I went on as a guest spot, and then I found a sales like I got a notification, hey, you sold the mug, and I'm like, no shit. And so I went and then he told me he was the guy that bought it. He's like, because we were in a Discord server for that podcast,
yep,
and he was like, oh yeah, Aaron, I got my mug. I'm like, oh cool. And then the third one is actually the one I had. It's a proof that they sent me,
yep,
and I gave that one away to one of my longtime fans who happened to be coming through the area a couple of weeks ago for his job, and we met up and grabbed a bite to eat, and it was just nice to meet somebody in real life. And I was like, "Here, I brung you
yeah,
a mug." So that's the three pieces of Aaron's merch that are out in the wild somewhere.
yeah. Well, so anyway, when I contacted you, you seemed like a pretty cool guy, and then I saw that you had this podcast. I was like, oh, this is too good of an opportunity. I'm not going to just give him one thing, right? So,
Yeah, well, I do
so I was like,
appreciate that too.
so hey, you want a hat too? Pick a hat. So the shirt you chose was the emotions of Brandon Herrera. And it's like, so just so you know, the website's forcedvalor.com with a D,
Yes, it is,
forced valor. Uh,
and there will be a link in the show notes.
yep. And there's a merchandise link on there for anybody who's interested. But so you picked that black hat, and then I sent it off, and you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to one of the live shows, and I'll wear it." So little, so that shows how we ended up being acquainted. Then not too long after that, I was still trying to. Well, let me before I go into that. So every year, um, the unsubscribed podcast, they raise money for certain charities. They do, during Veterans Day, the month of Veterans Day, they do the whole month. They sell merchandise and stuff and raise money for veterans causes. And then they also during the they do autism awareness because Eli's son is autistic, and I've got a grandniece that's got autism who's on the spectrum, and until not that long ago was pretty much nonverbal. We thought that she was deaf, as a matter of fact, when she was little, because she
Hmm.
just didn't talk. She didn't do anything with like reaction stuff, but she was the sweetest little kid. So I have, a lot of people have that in their families, or they know somebody, or they have somebody they're related to. And I was like, you know what? This is a great cause. I want to do something. So I did buy some shirts and stuff from the site. But one of the things that they were putting up for auction was a set of ugly ass communism shoes that that they made for Nick, because anybody who knows the Fat Electrician hates communism with a burning passion. And so they decided, hey, we're going to auction off this one of one set of shoes, and the proceeds will be given to the charities for autism awareness. And I'm like, well, this is a way to raise some awareness, and it's a good cause. So, well, whatever. I have some disposable income, and I'll bid on it. Now, it became a pretty exorbitant fee relatively quickly. And I'm a guy who's been around for the good old days of eBay, back back when you'd set up bid snipers and everything. And I figured out pretty quickly that every time I bid on it, somebody was gonna try was is gonna outbid me. And I wasn't 100% convinced that the unsub guys, the friends of those guys, weren't actually doing it themselves because they just thought it would be fun to buy the
Just to
shoes
see
or
how high it could
see
go.
how high they could get it. So I just laid off and waited because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna wait. We'll see. And so I waited till the end and put in a a ridiculous bid on it, and lo and behold, I won the I won the award. I won the shoes. So, and I can actually, so anybody who hasn't seen these things, they're god awful. I'll pull one of them. I keep them in an acrylic box display on my desk
Yep.
in my shop. So this is one of the shoes. There's a video on my YouTube, my personal YouTube channel, JD the Bot Guy, that goes over. They're all signed by the Fat Electrician and King Trout Donut. Eli's signatures here, and then there's the Fat Electrician and Brandon Herrera. They all signed it. One of the shoes. So when I won it, I actually asked. I was like, "Can I come pick the things up in person?"
And they
You
went,
you miss you don't you don't you know you miss every shot you don't take.
exactly.
So I was like, hell, it's worth asking. Worst thing they can do is say no, which they did promptly because they don't know who I am. I could be some psychopath, which is probably true. But
Well, I mean, you did just spend an absorbent amount of money on a pair of shoes, so
yeah, and for the sake of my marriage, I'm not going to say how much that was.
that's okay. She
Just
won't
in case my wife ever decides to watch this crazy thing. Not that I think she will, but
know.
I'm I'm
She
not gonna. I'm not
what
gonna.
she
She
don't
knows
know
it's a
won't
lot.
hurt us. Yeah.
Yeah, she knows it was a lot. I'm not gonna tell her how much a lot. So um, they said no, but they're like, yeah, well, we'll announce the winners at the end of this because we've got a bunch of different contests that people entered. We'll announce the winners. I was like, okay, here's a good way to pull this. So when you announce the winners, don't use my real name. Use my handle. And they're like, okay. So on on when they announced all the things, they used my handle, JD the Bot Guy, and of course my website went nuts because everybody immediately Googled, who is JD
Yeah.
the Bot Guy?
Who's this
Because
guy?
it was like, who is this guy? Because he must be a creator because they would have used his real name if he was just some schmo, right? So I got some action off of that, which was, it's a bonus. Why not? Get a little bit of, don't let anything go to waste. Take a
Yeah.
chance on things. So got a little bit of hit off of that. But yeah, so they knew who I was, and after a little while, I was like, you know what? I got another opportunity here. They announced that they had a PO box. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send some merchandise to these guys, and maybe, just maybe, something will appear on a podcast. And so I sent them. So I sent them a bunch of shirts and some hats, including one like you're wearing and one like I'm wearing, and some stickers and various and sundry other things. And after a while, they finally got around to doing, the gang goes to the PO box, and they recorded. It was very very end of the episode, and it's a Pepperbox exclusive. So pepperbox.tv, if you don't have a subscription to it, it's damn near free. It's like $7 a month, and you
Yeah.
can get a free trial and watch all kinds of good stuff. So
Yeah.
there's me plugging their
Decide that
stuff
it's
for
worth
them.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they did that episode, and I have still shot like screenshots of Brandon wearing this hat, not this particular hat, but the same hat, and that shirt, the same exact shirt that you had won in the contest. Um, and they're holding up, and of course Eli's folding it like an autistic person. He put it back together and everything. But and then King Trout, ruined the whole bit by going in and doing some because he apparently has a ridiculously small head, and he gets mad when people bring it up, and but
A
got into the
normal
shot and just
human-sized head.
yeah, right, and flipped out, and then they ended the episode. But I was doomed anyway because nobody can follow a human skull.
No,
So
no,
if
that's
you don't
fair.
know what we're talking about on that, go get yourself a subscription, a trial, and watch that episode. Somebody sent a skull to the gang. I'm not going to give any other details away on it. You can go look at it for yourself. But the funny thing was, is you were going to a live show.
Yeah, like 2 weeks later.
Yeah, wearing the same shirt. And at this point, Brandon's like, "Oh, this guy's got like a little figurine of me in a jar stuff. This is starting to scare me." But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I
and
you,
that did
you
happen at the show. I got recognized waiting in line to get into the building. Like, hey, dude, that's a shirt from you got Brandon in a jar. I'm like,
like,
no, no, no. The guy that has Brandon in a jar sent me the shirt.
yeah,
He's setting me up. He's gonna try and get me pile drive during the show or something. I don't know. And where'd you get the shirt? Forcedvalor.com. Go check it out.
yep,
So I did throw a few plugs, and yeah, it was an interesting show. As I mentioned in the Lost episode, I mentioned this. I was actually really kind of disappointed that I didn't get because I got so close to getting Rich's attention when he was doing
yep,
his crowd work, and that would have been beautiful. And then I wound up having to cut out early because my wife was sick and she was,
yep,
please come home. I don't feel good, blah blah blah. So instead of hanging around until they threw me out, which is usually my habit at any show I go to, is I'll stay in the
right,
audience because I don't want to fight the swarm of people leaving. It's not even that I want to hang out and see if they come back out on stage. It's just I don't want to deal with crowds. But this time I was like, I managed to luck out and I got Rockstar parking, which kind of bit me in the ass because I had to walk like 4 blocks to get to the back of the line from where I parked.
yeah,
But when I left, I was parked literally at the end of the street from where the venue was because one good thing I will give Chicago is they turn the meters off on Sunday. So you can park on the street. And I managed to, there's a restaurant right up the road from where the venue is that right as I was coming down the street, somebody pulled out leaving the restaurant. And I was like, mine. And I pulled in and I parked and, and I went to the venue and I was like, oh, sweet. And I'm like, oh man, there's a lot of fucking people here. And I was walking and walking and walking and wound up going like 4.5 city blocks to get to the back of the line. And I don't know what was taking so damn long, but I got there a half hour before the show was supposed to start. And the guys were on stage by the time I got in the building. I was like, this is ridiculous. I mean, I didn't really miss any of the show per se,
yeah.
but like I was in there before Nick came out, but Eli and Donut and Brandon were already on the stage, so I missed all of Rich's warm up routine for the crowd, and I was just like, there's a line that goes a mile down the road, and you got 2 people working the door. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But and it's Chicago, so they were wanding everybody, and it was
Oh,
kind
of
of funny
course.
watching people that didn't have the foresight to go, they're going to want us to get into this building. So I was like, oh, I got to go back to my car. Yeah, well, yeah.
Yep.
And I was like, well, if I had to go back to my car, at least it's close. But then I had to go back to the back of the line again. But I left my piece in the car. So
Right. Yeah. Apparently, to bring that back around, it's like they were having a discussion about the scope. So anybody who doesn't know, if you're a Pepperbox member, you get a special link to join their Discord server, and occasionally it's a rarity, but occasionally the creators will hop in. So it's not normal, but it does.
it
And they
happens.
were they were they were talking about that where people were throwing away pocket knives and hiding guns in bushes and all kinds of crazy
Yep.
shit. It's like, oh man, don't how do you not? I always assume that any event like that, they're going to be wanting people. I just make that assumption.
Yeah,
And
no, it's generally a safe assumption.
but
And
it's like, ah,
yeah, I mean, color me crazy, but even with that audience, I mean, you know, it, I mean, I get like, the Texas shows and probably the Iowa shows. Well, no, Iowa, they were probably, I think they said at some point, I think somebody said something about them getting wanted, and that's why it took so long to. Yeah, it was when the
Well,
show
yeah.
was on Say Hi to Eli. She was talking about that.
I mean, they've talked about how dumb it would be for somebody to pull a gun and try to do a mass shooting at one of those
Yeah, no,
events.
that's the wrong place to.
That's not a good idea, but uh that is a good opportunity for somebody who's got some stupid shit like that on their mind. So they're going to definitely be wanting people,
Yeah.
and so, oh well. But I had originally planned on going to the San Antonio show, but my son got entrapped into a DUI charge.
Ooh.
I don't know. I don't even know if we talked about that last
No,
time.
I don't think we did. You.
Oh, for the love of Pete. So yeah, I had plans, he and I were going to go, and I was going to try my best to do a VIP or a meet and greet or something like that, and let Brandon punch me in the face in person for the shenanigans that I cause. I don't think he'd actually do that, but it's always
Nah.
a cute joke. Uh, and
Unless you show up with a Brandon in a jar.
yeah, well, you know, there's a guy that makes little Lego figurines, and he made a Brandon Lego figurine. I haven't gotten one yet, but I want one. Um,
Yep.
but and I'm gonna put it in a jar and then stick it with my shoes. But yeah, that's a. I won't give all the gory details, but my son, it's not gory details. It's not like he killed a family of, you know, children or something, but uh, he had volunteered to take a drunk girl home, and everybody's been in that situation. You got the drunk girl who, slobbering and can't hardly, figure out who she is. And he's like, I'll be the nice guy and take her home. Now, he was sober. He had been drinking, but he was still sober at the time he left the party. And buddy his pulled up at a local park, and because he had to take a leak. And my son gets out of his truck, and this truck pulls up behind him, and he's like, "Oh, that's another one of my pals, right? I'm gonna go back and talk to him." And then on his way back, he realized it was the cops.
Oh,
The some of
jeez.
the local cops, they have pickup trucks, right? Because we're in the
Yeah.
middle of nowhere, so sometimes they need four-wheel drive and stuff. And he's like, "Oh, so you need us to leave?" And the cop's like, "Yeah, the park closes at 9. This is like 3 o'clock in the morning. Park closes at 9. You can't be here." He's like, "All right, let me tell my buddy we got to go." So he goes, tells his buddy, gets in the truck and leaves. Well, drunk girl's like, "Oh, you just missed the turn." So he goes around, he's making the block. Cops are following him. "Oh, you missed the turn again." So he makes the block again. He comes back around. He's almost in the same damn place he started out from. And they flip on the lights, whoop, whoop,
Yep.
pulled him over. And, you know, did all the hubbub and stuff and arrested him for a DUI.
Yeah, that
So that
sucks.
happened. That happened like right before it was getting time for tickets to go on sale. And I was like, I'm going to have to deal with this. And this is going to be a huge expense. And I was like, I don't know where he lost his license. Obviously, they took it. You
Yeah.
can't really, how you get, I mean, you can get on a plane without a driver's license, but it's not fun. And I knew there was going to be a lot of money involved. So I'm like, nope, I'm gonna be an adult and not do something stupid like spend money on tickets. Uh, Long story short, that was entrapment, and that case got thrown out.
Well,
So
that's good.
so he did end up beating that, but it did cost a $2,500 fee for the lawyer. Uh, so yeah, it was not pleasant. So I didn't get to go to the live shows. I had to deal with that. But yeah, so you got to bear the brunt of the shirt thing, because I was gonna definitely wear the same damn shirt because it was recognizable. But
Indeed.
yeah, but like I said, I go to Shot Show every year. I'm going again in January. I'm hoping beyond all hope that they're going to try and do something there. We since we taped the lost episode, they did come out and say there was a whole bunch of crap that went down with the Gundies,
Yeah,
and they
and with
pulled a bunch of
veteran with a
garbage.
sign.
Right, absolutely. So I was like, I made a couple of like Eli and I think Show and a couple other people, HLC, and they all made posts about about coming up on the end of the live show. I think they're doing one, the last ones this weekend at Boston. I think at
Yeah,
time of taping,
New Jersey and Boston.
Boston,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, it doesn't have to be the last one. I was like, you really want to get even? You have a live show at the same time Monday night as the Gundies
Yeah,
and steal a big portion of their audience.
and pan over the theater, just nobody's there.
I already bought tickets and I don't care. Like I won't go. It's like I bought tickets before I found out about all the stuff that went down. Well I'll rephrase. Before I remembered that they had spoken about this before. They
Yeah.
talked about the fact that they weren't taking cash at the door and all kinds of crazy crap like that. It just I never put two and two together. So, but yeah, if they do a show in Vegas, I don't care if it's the same night. I'm not going to the Gundies. I'm going to the Unsub. That'll be a lot more fun.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it would. It would
But
probably be thoroughly unhinged.
oh, absolutely, yeah. Vegas is a whole experience to begin with. So, but yeah, it's a that's the whole spiel on how this ended up happening.
Yep. And now we're here again.
Yep, and here we are again. Although we're significantly less inebriated than we were at this point last time, I think.
Very true. Because
Yep.
I'm pretty sure we didn't get to this point for like 2 hours last.
Yeah, yeah. It took us a long time to get there. We're
Well,
about an hour and 45 minutes in, right? So
yeah, give or take.
so we
But
weren't we're not that far ahead of schedule. We're just not drinking as much this
yeah, I
time.
was gonna say we probably just were going a little harder last time, but
Yep.
that's okay
Good.
too.
Yeah. So
Had to get another hot cocoa,
yeah, me
which
too. I had to grab a whole another bottle and get some ice. But
yeah,
yeah, that there was only like two glasses in that last one.
yeah,
Yeah. That is one bad thing. I don't know if you remember, but this bottle that I just finished was like right here when we started
yeah.
last time, and it was like right here when I started this time. Yeah, drank a lot of bourbon on
Yeah,
the
so I think
last.
we put a pretty healthy dent in our respective
Oh yeah, I don't. You listened to it last time, and I don't know that I made any sense at all by the
Oh
time
no,
it was
we
over.
were surprisingly we held it together pretty good, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I was like, yeah, I don't know what I rambled about, but oh God, I felt great the next day. I
Oh yeah,
woke up drunk.
yeah, I've
Well, that's one of the interesting things. It's like you have fun conversations, and it's like you just keep drinking and drinking and drinking, and that's a great thing about whiskey. Is the I think we talked about this before, and anybody who spends time consuming alcohol, beer beer is one of those things. It's like you're going to go to the restroom constantly. After
yeah,
you do it the first time, you break the seal, and then you're in the bathroom the whole time. Um, the good thing about whiskey is there's a lot less volume for the amount of alcohol you're getting.
oh yeah, and
So you don't really realize it because you're not standing up. And everybody's had one of those experiences. The minute you stand up to
and you
go,
go, oh,
oh shit, I'm drunk. so
yep,
so it's like you don't get those opportunities as much because you're drinking something that doesn't have anywhere near the volume that beer does.
yeah, and indeed,
And so it's really easy to consume a lot more than your body can process in the
yeah,
time that you sleep.
yeah, especially if you're having a good time while you're doing
Oh
it,
yeah.
and you're not
Yeah.
thinking about it. Now it was actually kind of funny after we finished up. I did go out. I took the dog out and wound up standing out there and smoking my cigar that I had been chewing on because like I don't get to smoke in the house because I'm
Yeah.
not allowed to, and
Yeah.
that's okay.
And I'm a horrible influence.
Yeah, no, it's actually just watching you smoke a cigar for 4 hours. I was, but and it was funny because I did go out there and I smoked my cigar until the dog got mad at me and was like, "Dude, I want to go to bed. You suck."
Hmm.
And so the dog and I were out there, and I put her back in the house and finished my cigar, and then apparently I don't remember doing it, but I stuck the butt in a snowbank, and then promptly forgot I did it because I didn't want to just like throw it in the garbage or anything because you don't want to start the garbage can on fire.
Right.
And I my ashtray was buried under a bunch of snow, like down on the other end of the patio. So I was just, "Oh, here, that goes there. That'll put it out." And and I promptly forgot about it and went back in the house and went to bed. And I got up to take the dog out the next morning, and since we had to take our fence down, I can't just let her out the back door. So I got to put her on a leash and walk her around the yard. And she goes over and she's digging in this snowbank. I'm like, "What are you getting into? Damn it." She pops her head up. She's sitting there, got the butt of my cigar sticking out of her mouth. Like, I'm like, "No, give me that. Jeez, no." It
Uh,
was fun. I'm like,
yeah,
that is not for you."
yeah. That's that's probably a great thing to let a give a dog the shits or something.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure she would have been crapping all over the house, and
Oh,
then I would have been
absolutely.
in trouble for it. So I mean, I would have said I don't know what she got into, but I don't know. She was digging in a snowbank. I have no idea what she swallowed and made her crap all over the house. Yes, I'll clean it up, honey. I love you.
Before we decided to do, or when we were deciding to do this the first time, and and of course you and I have talked about this already, but nobody else knows that. Um, but I teased about the origin of my handle because a
Yeah,
lot of
which
people
by the
don't
way,
know
I
that.
would love to
Yeah,
go over again just because it's
yeah,
a good
absolutely.
story.
It is, but I was talking about, oh, it's so long, and I came to the realization, I think it was yesterday or today, I can't remember when I was thinking about it. It's like, you know, I told half the story getting to the part about the whole Forced Valor website and all that stuff, why I was going to SHOT Show. I was like, because I was like, oh, that story only took like 35 minutes to tell, and it's a lot longer than that. And then I came to the realization that I told half the story, then did a bunch of other crap, and then came back and told the other half of the story. So
Pretty much,
it
yeah.
is longer, yeah. So it when I got to the actual point, it was a lot shorter than I had teased it to be. Um, if I had told it all together, I think it would probably be a little
Yeah.
longer.
I was gonna say it's
But
just kind of woven through the whole thing though.
yeah,
It's
so I mentioned previously I've been working in the firearms industry for off and on, and I'm not a player. Believe me, I'm not a big name. It's like so. But back when I said I started an ammo company, uh, because I was trying to figure out something to do to make money. Long story short, that is not a way to make money. Ammo companies are, especially now, it's like the margins are tight, especially when everybody's driving, on a race to the bottom on pricing. And,
yep.
you know, you can't cover the excise taxes, and that's the taxes you pay to the federal government that pays for all kinds of stuff. They use that money for wildlife conservation, so on and so forth. There's a lot of stuff. So there's like 11% excise tax that you pay to the government for all the ammunition that you make that the manufacturer is responsible for handing over. Um, that a lot of people probably don't know about that. So you've got your cost for your everything to make it, your for the cost of goods, your components, and then your time and the everything that goes into making it, plus 11% of your sale price, and then anything that you make on top of that is your profit, right? And I had bought a Dillon Precision, so they're top, top of the line, especially at the time. I'd bought a one of their smaller presses, and I had gotten some crappy automation. Is this chain drive thing that just pulls the handle for you, and it's not smart at all. It just cycles the damn press, and I was breaking it constantly. It's just really bad, especially for the size press I had at the time. It's got some plastic pieces on it. It's not meant to be automated, and so I ended up that thing just ended up being a stand, and I was pulling the handle by hand. And I did that for a while and was making a little money. I had a few local people that I was selling ammo to who were stocking it for like plinking and stuff. It was not high end stuff. It was just little internet sales and stuff. It was really nothing. It was enough to just keep me interested. And I spent in this same building countless hours making ammunition and selling it to people and stuff. And so I decided to upgrade, got a bigger press, got a 1050, uh, which is larger, got more stations on it, so you can do more stuff in a single pass. But I still didn't have any automation for it because all there was again a simple chain drive, dumb machine that just goes and it's got a clutch in it. If you jam it, it just sits there and spins until you figure out what the jam is, and you have to cycle it forward or reverse. It runs like a sewing machine. So it's just
Yeah. Okay.
going. And I was like, I don't want to. You have to modify the press to make that work. Send it in to somebody. They got a machine stuff. I just didn't want anything to do with that. There was really nothing on the market. I was starting to get a really bad repetitive stress injury with my right shoulder. And I'm talking about it got to the point where I couldn't put my arm up to wash my hair. And it was really bad. And the way that things make, you can only pull it with your right arm. You can't really do
Yeah,
it
you
with your
can't.
left hand. It's just not made for that. And I think I mentioned earlier, I work in technology as a day job, and I've got a buddy of mine who I work with all the time who's an engineer. And I was like, man, if I'm going to keep this up, we got to come up with some way to pull the handle for me. Something that doesn't require us to make a bunch of modifications to this press, because they have they had a lifetime warranty on these machines, right? As long as they don't know you at the time, they don't know you have automation on it. If you break something, they're fixing it. And yeah, there are certain pieces that break that are kind of like telltale signs of automation. But if it's a bolt on, it's not modified, they won't, they can't really know. Now I know that's kind of being a piece of shit, but at the time, it was tight margins, you know. So we started developing an idea, and I got an Arduino. For anybody who knows, a lot of people, hobbyists use them. You can write code for them and circuits and whatnot. And we started building this thing, and he engineered all the parts that made it mechanically work, and I was doing all of the circuitry and coding. And this was back 2009 ish, and we worked. So this is a little while back. We worked on that for a while, and got to the point where I came to the realization, now I'm doing this wrong. This is stupid. Why am I making ammo? We've got this thing that we've built, and it's modular enough. We should just sell this equipment to people, and they can bolt it on their presses and automate their stuff. So I start looking into it, and I was like, yeah, I don't want somebody ripping off my stuff, because this doesn't exist. Nobody has this, right? So I start looking into it and can't really figure out. I don't know anything about intellectual property law.
Yeah.
I'm a dumbass making, monkey pulling a handle, and I just happen to be smart enough to be able to make this equipment. So I start looking around, and anybody who knows that, you know, GoFundMe and other crowdfunding, they're not 2A friendly.
No,
They
they're not.
you can't use their services for anything Second Amendment related at all, because they'll just shut you down. So I was, rummaging around on the internet, and I found a website called Twist Rate, and they were a 2A friendly Second Amendment, 2A friendly crowdfunding site. And there were a few people that had some stuff up there. They do things like, if you donate X amount of dollars, you get a sticker or whatever, and you get different levels
Yeah.
of prizes or gifts for whatever you donate. Well, I didn't have jack squat to give away like that, so I came up with an idea. It's like, okay, I'm going to give away like 1,000 rounds of 22 ammo for whoever at the end of this thing is a contest. It's like, you donate
Yeah.
money, you get entered. 1,000 rounds of 22 ammo, and so get into this thing, get it set up. Well, I can't show any pictures of the damn thing, right? I don't have any IP protection at the time. I
Yeah.
so I'm going off of a, like, this is what it does, but you can't see it, right? Who's going to donate? It's like, hey, here's this thing I've got, but it's just a bunch of text and I'm describing what it does, but you can't see it do what it does. There's no, they're in there blind, right? And he gets around to the point where I end up somehow or another contacting the owners of the website, and we were talking about it, and in the process of everything, signed an NDA, which I thought was interesting. It's like this guy I'm talking to is like, hey, I'm going to send you over a boilerplate non-disclosure agreement. You need to sign it and send it back to me, and then we can talk about your stuff, which I thought was really weird. You'd expect somebody that's like, hey, well, let's talk about it, and then they rip your idea off. And this guy was protecting me. It's like there was no protection for him in this whole thing.
Well,
So I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So I signed it and I sent it back. He's like, okay, now we can talk. So we start having conversations about it. He's like, I know a little bit about patent law. Do you have an attorney? And I was like, no, I don't. He's like, well, I'll introduce you to my guy. He's based out of Salt Lake City, and he can help you, protect your uh, your intellectual property so that you can do something with it to get some traction on this because you can't post any pictures or video of this thing. So he introduces me to his patent attorney, and I get signed up with him and do a provisional patent. And for anybody who doesn't know anything about IP like I didn't, the 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 dumbest way you can explain this in the most lay terms is you get essentially a year of protection. It makes you patent pending. It's a cheap or low barrier to entry thing. It costs next to nothing in the grand scheme of things to get patent protection, puts you in a pending state, and you have a year to do whatever before you actually have to file for a real patent. So I was like, all right, I get this all taken care of, get patent pending. This was September of 2012. And I do know that because that's when we actually filed this. So September 2012, get patent pending. I start putting videos out, run this whole contest and everything. And at the end of it, once it was all going, this guy's like, well, what's the price for one of these units? What are you gonna set the price at? I was like, I don't know, $1,000 will get me some seed money to get started. So he's like, I'll be your first customer. And so we get the machine put together that we did the videos of and everything, and it was really gross. It was all hardwired. There was no circuit boards, no nothing. It was all just plugged in with little breadboards and stuff. We were using Ethernet cable, like for network in the
yeah.
house as all the circuits because it was something I had handy. And so he
Like,
he
what do I
buys
have a lot of? Cat
yeah
5.
yeah Cat 5 cable. I can get that. Did all the stuff, made videos of it, and then he buys it. And we ship it off to him. And so I was talking to him, and he's like, this website thing isn't really doing it. It's probably not going to make it. Nobody's really, it's just not able to compete on a scale that's big enough. He's like, I'm really thinking about shutting it down, and I think I'm gonna start a coffee company. I was like, you're shitting me. He's like, yeah, it's like I've got this thing. It's like I got a real passion for it. He's like, in no, I want to do something that's like, again, it's a Second Amendment friendly. I want to play into that market, and so that's where I think I'm headed. Me and my business partner, and I was like, well, I guess that's a cool idea. I mean, I like coffee and everything. So the Twistweight website ends up shutting down, and Homeboy starts a coffee company. And I know you've heard the story before, but nobody else has, and I'm pretty sure that they've heard of the coffee company. The guy I had been talking to the whole time, his name is Evan Hafer, and he and Matt Best started Black Rifle Coffee. Not too long after that whole thing went. So he bought the very first machine that we ever produced. He helped me get started with the patent attorney. At the end of the whole ordeal, we've got 9. I'm named inventor on 9 patents at this point because
Which
of
is
all the
pretty
improvements
cool.
we made. And so the the we built the machine. We got in touch with the people who make the press, Dillon Precision. Uh, Established a relationship with that company. Um, the machine that we built was so good that they bought one. The they ran it for 3 million cycles and then tore the machine apart and looked at it. And it's like there is less wear on this machine than one that would be the same amount of cycles that was run by hand. They're like, because
Pretty
nobody's
impressive.
there's no side loads on it. It's all linear in it, and it's just like you can't tell that this thing's run 3,000 times, and we know it did because it ran night and day for like months to get to this count. He's like, we just ran it all the time and kept an eye on it. It's like, and this thing was processing brass from like machine guns with fluted barrels, like
Oh, geez.
sloppy machine guns that have been run and run and run and run, and they're running 308 brass through this thing with a fluted, and it was just eating that stuff alive, just chug chug chug.
That's pretty cool.
So we they were like, I we think that your machine is okay for our warranty. It's like, I don't we may very well enter and tell people it's like, if you run this machinery, you're okay. And that's actually how I got started going to Shot Show, was to go and talk to them about all this. And we ended up entering into a business deal and having a contract and sold the company to them. And now they produce their Dillon automation that was based on our original design. We helped them design and produce that machine, taught them how to build it, how to test it, and everything. Went to their facility and took care of that. But that's the origin of the name, is not because of AI and bots on the internet. It's actual robotics
Which is
producing ammunition.
which is actually pretty friggin' cool. At least in my opinion. I mean, I'm just some guy,
Yeah,
but I
but
think that's pretty slick.
yeah,
That's
no, nobody has any idea. When I was trying to choose a handle to go by, when I was starting all this stuff, I was like, I got to come up with something. It's like this, it's not my real name. It's like, I'm no content creator. So I was like, I know what. I was like, I'll just I'll just use my nickname my mom calls me, and I'm the bot guy. I'm the guy that makes bots, and just went with it from there. And so here we are, which is which is a better story than Tectone.
yeah, actually it definitely
but
is.
I wasn't like 9 when I came up with it. So there you go.
Yeah, a little bit of an unfair balance there, but
Another thing that we didn't cover yet, that I brought up last time. So, you know, laying into the AI thing. So I talked about how I had the website and the stories, and I didn't really think that the written word is a thing. And a lot of people don't want to read, and I had this
it's
website
very true.
with an AI picture, and it was a still, and then a bunch of words. And I was like, man, there's got to be a way that I can get the people who don't want to read it. So I'm like, I was actually had a little bit of a health scare, and I was out of work for a little bit, and I didn't really have much going on. It's like, I gotta come up with something to do to fill my time. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna start a YouTube channel, and I'm gonna take these stories that I've written, and I'm gonna get them narrated. And of course, my voice is not one for narration. I don't have a voice for radio. So I was like, I'm gonna lean into the AI thing, and I'm gonna generate a voice to narrate these stories. And I was like, a lot of people like watching those. I like watching the old David Attenborough. It's like you got the British guy narrating things, and he's got a smooth voice, and you like to listen to him. It's like, I think I'm gonna do that. So I created this persona, uh, Ronald Wimbley. My son actually gave him a name. I was like, I got a British guy. What's a great British name? He's like Ronald Wimbley, and you got to really press the H's. So
Ronald Wimbley.
Ronald with a real heavy H. It's like the Cool Whip thing from Family Guy. It's like, why are you putting so much emphasis on the H? But yeah, I named this character Ronald Wimbley, and started having him narrate it. And I would just take the still from the website and put it on the screen, and then just have the voice narrate it. And I was going through, I don't know how many different iterations. I just, it really wasn't. It was like, okay, one still isn't really going to do it. It's not holding people's attention. They're just not. The stories were getting longer, so people were losing their attention span. Right? They were dropping off, and I was like, I got to do something better. Right? And again, I grew up, watching Ken Burns documentaries, and they take a still picture, do Civil War and all this other stuff. Shelby Foote is another one of those guys that I love, watching and listening to. And they take these still photos and they pan across them, and it kind of gives you the feeling that it's animated. They focus on different pieces of the still. And I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. It's like, I'm gonna start making these stills, and I'll change scenes and do the whole Ken Burns effect on all these. And that's what I'm going to do. And I went through uh, several iterations. I did a couple of manga, however the hell you pronounce it, because again, I'm not a weeb. I don't know how that goes, but
That's okay. They'll come
like
for us and
anime.
tell
Yeah,
us in the comments or something.
yeah. And I did a couple, two or three of those, uh, with during like Vietnam and stuff. And then I made uh I made a channel trailer, because I was on YouTube one time and it's like, hey, one way to bring people to your channel is to create a short channel trailer that you can put up on your YouTube channel that people will see when they go to your profile, and that gives them kind of an idea of what you produce. And so I made kind of a compilation of some different things that happened in stories and on the website, and what I did is I created these pictures, and I did an AI face swap with Brandon Herrera's face. And because you can't generate at the time, especially, you couldn't generate a an AI image of a real person and
Yeah.
make it at all believable. So I would generate the images, and then I would face swap the characters in the image, and use that. Well, I made this channel trailer, and the thing went nuts. um I started a TikTok channel and put it up, and I think I got like 30,000 views on this thing, and it went crazy. And then somebody found it on YouTube, and it went nuts. And I was like, man, this is the way. This is what I'm going to do. And so I changed the whole thing. I started doing, AI stills and face swapping them and everything. I did a Ranger School episode where Brandon goes to Ranger School, but he's a civilian. He's not even in the military, and somehow or another graduates with honors and does all kinds of ridiculous stuff. And that's how I decided on the way I do the videos and things. And I don't want to pretend that this stuff is at all believable. I mean, obviously, there's no
Yeah.
way that Brandon Herrera fought in the Revolutionary War or the War of 1812 or any of that stuff. It's just not possible. And I also have this thing where I won't go past like Vietnam. It's like anything. I don't want to go into like the GWAT era and stuff. I mean, Vietnam veterans are my parents' age, right?
Yeah.
Those guys, there's not a whole lot of them, and it's so ridiculous and unbelievable that I don't really think that I would. I'm not trying to disrespect actual veterans.
Yeah. It's
It's
just
just the thing. It's part of the lore, and it's just like a fun thing to do. And so I won't go into to GWAT or Desert Storm or any of that stuff, because that's stuff that's too recent, right?
yeah.
I'm not going to do that. So, but there's a whole bunch of stuff in history that's before that happened that I can use as content for my website.
Yep.
So that's what I
Couple hundred
decided to
years
do.
of
Is
it at
just
least.
yeah, thousands. If you not if you go further back than like just people being in North America. So,
Yeah.
but and that's what I did is like I do whole series. I did a Vietnam series. I've done a Revolutionary War series. I did the War of 1812. Uh, doing World War One. I did all this a bunch of stories for World War One and finished them up. So I write the stories for the website, and then several weeks later, I come back and pick them up and make videos of them. So there's a little bit of a delay. People get to see the story, and then they get to see, hear about it later on the website. I produce one video a week and one story a week that I release. I release the written stories on Saturday mornings, and I release the videos on Wednesday mornings. So, and that's been the thing. I've been doing it now. So I started June was when I started the YouTube channel, and I've been doing a story a week since then. I think and I try to stay working ahead because like you want to have a little buffer just in case like life gets in the way. I think I've got just finished episode 37 for the YouTube channel. So it's
That's cool.
yeah, and I'm trying to keep that. It's one of those things. It's like I know you can feel this. It's like you set deadlines for yourself, and then so you start stressing out because you're not going to meet that deadline, and it
Yep.
doesn't. It's completely arbitrary. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
have
no,
to produce them
it
on that.
that was actually me earlier this morning. Sitting there going, God damn it, I got this hard drive fixed. I got to get this up. This is supposed to be posted already. And then and then honestly, then something just kind of unhooked and went, why are you mad?
Yeah.
You're mad at yourself over circumstances beyond your control. It'll be okay. I'm like,
Yeah.
and I said to myself, I said, I already explained this to JD what happened. I'm sure he'll understand.
Oh
So
yeah.
you're not letting him down. You're letting yourself down. You said something about the episode dropping, and I'm sure your fans are going to be but they understand. Your fans will get it because, frankly, I'm going to be bitching about it on Monday. So,
Yeah.
like,
But
and be like, don't worry, guys. The take two is coming, and then, but it'll be
yeah, it's
okay.
it's crazy. You develop I've got like 37, almost 3,800 people that follow that channel at this point, and it's gotten to the point where I've had it up long enough to have regulars. And so
Yep.
it's interesting that I mentioned the Discord, where nobody's allowed to self promote on that Discord. They've
Yep.
got their creators and stuff, and I've been really careful about not breaking that rule. But every now and then you'll get some noob who's never been around and hasn't been there and stuff, and they'll be like, "Oh God, have you seen this?" And they'll post some of my content,
Yep. I'm
and
like,
everybody's like, "Yeah, that's this JD guy. He makes all that stuff. He's here," and
he's a
they'll tag
commie.
me
He
in it.
loves whiskey.
Yeah, yeah, and so it's
Got
it's
the little
funny.
I
It's
heart
like,
communism.
yeah, and that's the thing is one of the mods made that role for me. There's two people on that Discord, two people who have a special role and a little icon, and a little emoji next to their name is me, and I've got the little red heart with the hammer and sickle in it, and it says I love communism because I bought the shoes to raise money for autism awareness, and then the watch guy,
Yep.
and so yeah, so anybody who doesn't know, every podcast that Unsub does or any of those guys do, there is a dude who watches the episode and tries to guess what kind of watch each of the people in the episode are wearing, and it's
And he's
become a whole thing.
disturbingly good at it.
Yeah, he's really good. He's wrong sometimes. As a matter of fact, I was watching an Angry Cops episode, and he said something about it, and he waves his hands like for the watch guy, and he waves his arm. It's the only part of the entire video he's wearing a watch is when he
That's
waves
funny.
his arm in front of the camera. It's like there is no way that guy's gonna guess what watch he's got. But yeah, there's two people that have a special role on that Discord server, and I'm one of them, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, you're definitely a little special.
Yeah, I am special. It's like it's one of those things I get fixated, and I can't let something go. And it's just, this is the thing. And there's a lot of people that get really mad about this. Um, there's people that think I'm being disrespectful. The funniest thing is people who get mad in the comments because Brandon's running for Congress. And they're like, somehow or another, this is going to be used against him. It's like, come on.
Like,
You
yeah,
really
let's
think,
let's be real here. No, it's
you know,
not.
nobody's going to think that he has nothing to do with this. It's like, he doesn't, it's, I'm sure that he would really rather this stuff wasn't being created. I mean, every time anybody does anything and brings this stuff up, his first reaction to them is like, "Fuck off." That's the very first thing out of his mouth anytime somebody gives him stuff. Yes, so he plays along because he's good natured. I mean, I don't know the guy personally, but he seems like a cool guy. He seems like
Yep.
he's pretty down to earth, and he goes along with it because the fans like it. But
Yeah,
I
and
get people mad at me. He's like, "You're going to ruin his run for Congress because you're doing this." I was like, "Are you serious?"
yeah,
Nobody in their right mind, except for maybe that idiot Tony Gonzalez, would think that he actually has anything to do with this.
yeah, and Tony's his own little special boy. He's
Yeah, he's something.
yeah, his
So
interns are well, without going into that whole
yeah, I'll go down that rabbit hole.
without going down
But
that rabbit hole, but whoever runs his social media account really
I don't know
doesn't.
that.
Yeah,
I don't know who's in charge of that, but honestly, they ought to be fired. And if he's doing it himself, you know what? He deserves what he gets for it because I mean, empty platitudes and endorsements from people who either don't matter or who didn't actually endorse him, and they're all boilerplate the same thing. It's like
yeah,
I'm
it's
endorsed by X person, and it's like, oh, so nobody cares.
and nobody endorsed by the Uvalde Police Department. There's a
Yeah.
ringing
Oh yeah,
endorsement.
they're great. Everybody wants to do what they think is right. So yeah, it's I don't know.
Yeah, it is what it is, but yeah, that chuckle fuck. He's yeah, I'm sure Brandon's not super concerned about it. I mean,
No, no, and I honestly think that he's going to have a landslide victory this time around. Um,
yeah, I mean,
I mean, all things point to it. So
yeah, and
he
it was
he's
so close last time. I mean,
yeah, I mean less than 1%, right? And
yeah,
he actually knows what he's doing this time around, and so he just kind of, I don't want to say he half-assed it last time because I don't think that was his intention. I just think that he had no idea what he was getting into because nobody does. It's like
yeah,
he just put his name in the hat because he thought that it was the right thing to do,
yeah.
and
He
he
decided,
almost won.
yeah, and I mean, consider what they had to do to make it a case of almost. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, what did they
yeah,
spend like $13 million to try to get him
yeah,
to beat him?
$13 million. Yeah, I mean, a 13 to $1 ratio. I think he said it was, or like
Yeah, it was
eleven
ridiculous the
dollars,
amount.
11 to 1, something like that. I mean,
Yeah, it
just
was it was a lot.
ridiculous amount of money. It was what it was. A lot of people didn't, you know, old people that get their traditional media, and they
Well, I mean, they were
well,
running
I saw
a
on the
smear
news that this
campaign.
young fella here
Oh,
heard you don't
that
like veterans.
he hates veterans. That's, I mean, okay, all of his friends are veterans pretty much. And and they raise all kinds of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars every year for veterans, charities. Yeah, he
Yeah,
totally he totally hates veterans. That's
yeah, without a
ridiculous.
doubt, he's very, very, very much a like, yeah, no bad veterans.
Yeah. Yeah, and you could, not that I want to draw any attention to it, but like that there are people that absolutely hate him and everything he stands for. I mean, if you look up his Wikipedia page, they put in all kinds of stuff like he's some sort of neo-Nazi and
Oh
everything.
yeah, no,
I I can't think. I mean, I get the feeling. I'm usually a pretty good judge of character on and stuff, and there's no way somebody could be that fake for that long.
yeah, no, you
People
can't.
slip up.
That
They
stuff's
can't
you can't
can't
sustain
fake that.
that. It's
Right. And he's not a bigot. And yeah, he's edgy, but he doesn't hate people because of their color or their religion or their background or anything. It's like you see the people he surrounds himself with. He's got all kinds of people that of all, all walks of life. Like you can't be, friends with that many people and be an asshole.
Yeah,
It's
it
like
does
it's just
it
not
doesn't
possible.
work.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, other than the people that are just, just I mean, part of the machine and,
Yeah.
part of the problem.
Well, I
I
mean,
I get why they don't like him, but
yeah. Well, I mean, because he's what they're not, and not that I want to be all political and take this down that path, but I mean, most people in that line of work they have handlers, they have people that tell them what to do, or they don't even do it themselves. You know,
yeah, it's
it's like they
ridiculous.
have somebody else doing things on their behalf, and Brandon does like all his own stuff. I mean, he is his own social, media person. His account is his. I doubt very seriously that anybody posts on his behalf.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think so. Like Brandon and Cody and Ben and Nick and most of the guys, I believe they have their own personal accounts. Like the show account is definitely show.
oh
So
no, definitely, yeah,
but yeah, I feel like most of those guys, they're pretty genuine. That's them, and it is what it is, you know.
it's been a long day for you.
Yeah, yeah, it
Been
really has, and
been fighting battles.
yeah, uphill battles both ways in the snow
Yep,
and
barefoot.
barefoot backwards. Yeah, no, I don't know how sitting all day could be so fatiguing, but it's just yeah, I mean, like I said, trying to recover that last episode because I said to myself, I'm going to get that out on Friday, and this should be it. And then this here's the case that didn't show up until freaking noon today. I'm like, you motherfuckers, you Amazon, grumble, grumble, some
Yeah,
bitches, or grumble, grumble. But I was all optimistic, like I'm going to plug this in and it's going to be great. I'm going to be able to pull this saved work off of there. Nope, nope, nope. Stupid technology.
it's
But
all.
and like I said, I really thought the whole plugging it into another computer as a slave drive was going to work. But I mean,
Yeah, you probably have a resistor or transistor or something that's on that board that's fried, and
something on that board just
just I
so
don't know.
yeah,
You could pay to have somebody recover it, but you know what? We're
yeah,
we're into this now. It's
yeah. Well, I mean, there's other stuff on there too,
I'm
but
sure. But the most important thing was the thing that I was
well, yeah,
into.
no, the thing that I was most chafed about was this because like I said, that I was excited and I'm like, this is going to be fun. Like I said, I listened to it and it was a fun listen, and I was like, this is going to be good. People are going to like this. And then it's like, yeah, no, guess what? The magic smoke is out of the hard drive.
It's okay.
But yeah, I mean, the other stuff is, I mean, most of it I'll be able to run down and recover, I think. Because like I said, ironically enough, I think I chucked it. My other my backup drive was an external drive that crapped out Sunday night, and then Monday night the hard drive went out, and I'm like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I
That episode was doomed to be lost.
yes, it was
It is.
doomed to be lost to the annals
Yeah.
of time.
Yeah. It's fine. It'll work out.
It's part of the mythology now.
Yep.
But yeah, no, and like I said, it was funny because I kind of knew the external one was going to go because leading up to like all of last week it was started ticking because
Oh,
it's a slightly
not the
older
click,
one.
not the
Yeah,
click of death.
yes, it was a click of death. It was a Western Digital too,
Oh no.
so that tick means it's a bad thing.
Oh, it
So I'm like,
wasn't one of those. What is it? A Death Star? It's like I
no,
can't
no,
remember the actual.
this was just an older Western Digital passport, 2 terabyte, so plenty of storage space for the. I mean, I think if I'm being completely honest, because I've got my cloud storage that I wasn't using for whatever friggin' reason, uh,
Yeah.
is like 1 terabyte, but it's about 400 gigs right now. That's full out of that terabyte of cloud storage I have, And if I had been storing everything on there, it would be full by this point, which is kind of why I was like, well, I have a 2 terabyte external drive. I'll use that for my backups right now and not have to pay for more cloud storage. Yeah, that worked out really well. But like, all the show graphics were on that drive and, you
Ooh,
know, all that stuff. Now, like I said, most of that I'll be able to recover from one source or another probably, but like the splash screens and the for the live stream stuff, all the like the title card, the countdown files, the little show closing thing that pops out, like the logo that just pops out like a TV turned off. That stuff was all on there, and I'll have to recreate that, I guess, because
yeah.
yeah, like
Well,
I
it's a
said, not the end of the world.
good opportunity to improve your craft.
Exactly. Hone my skills. I actually
Yes.
have better access to better software now, than I did when I did
Necessity
all of
is the
that
mother
stuff.
of invention, right?
Yep. And desperation is the father. But
I'm always looking for new ways to do what I do. And I think that we didn't have a conversation about this, but I made a comment because everybody wants to hate on AI. And they people who don't know what they're talking about think it's easy,
oh yeah,
right? And it's
we
like
talked about that a little bit, where
we
people
did.
just think it's just
It's like you think
you're
they
not doing
think
any
that you just
real
say
work. You
something, you're
just
not
it's
doing
just
any work.
AI.
And I use, I mean, I don't want to give away what I do. Not that my secrets are really secret, but I use, uh, I generate all my own background music, right? I generate the narration. I
Yeah,
generate the
and the
pictures. I
pictures,
just like
and
everything,
you come up
everything.
with the stories. I mean,
Yeah, everything I do, but I use a different tool for everything. It's like I don't, there's no one all-in-one source. I'm sure there is. I mean, I'm
well,
sure
I
Adobe has a suite that you could do everything in one place, but I'm not going to buy, thousands of dollars in software when I have access to all kinds of other stuff.
yeah,
And I've just figured out ways to go about doing it. And
and it works. I mean,
yeah.
I enjoy the content for what it's worth. Otherwise I would have just been like, yeah, whatever, dude. I don't want to talk to you. But
But yeah,
thanks for the
it's fun.
shirt. But
But
yeah, no,
I
it's
actually have, I mean, there's so, AI doesn't generate things well. And I'm a yeah, if one of the characters has like like three fingers,
yeah.
right?
So
I can't stand that, right? So I'm going to do things and I will take multiple copies of the same image. And okay, it's like, okay, this one has this part that's okay, and this one has this part. And I'll actually, I'm not gonna, I don't use Photoshop, but I do, image uh, uh editing tools, and I'll piece together images to fix things that are broken because the AI is not perfect. It doesn't
oh, that's
doesn't
far from
it's like,
perfect. It's
oh man, it's not that, I mean, it's not bad and it's getting better. And with the thing that throws me off is just about once a month I have to relearn how to do things because they change it.
yeah,
It's
and
like, oh, this does things differently than
the
than
same
it used
command
to.
that worked last month
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
work this. Yeah,
Oh man.
I actually I've been like I said, I've been using AI to do my title cards for the episodes. And the amount of work I had, like a couple episodes ago, I did a thing where talking about when Trump called Tim Walz a retard, and
Hmm.
I couldn't help myself. I had to make that the show card, and it took me probably 45 minutes to get something that I wasn't thrilled with, but was close enough to what I wanted. And it was like I had to keep elaborating and say, no, I want you to keep everything else the same, but change this and this and this. Like that does not look like Tim Walls. That looks like some random old guy. It needs to be a little more accurate so people at least know who we're talking about. It can't just be some fat white guy. It has to be a
Yep.
more specific fat white guy. And tweaking and changing and tweaking and changing. And the biggest part was I decided to put Tim Walls in a helmet and crying because
Oh yeah.
Trump called him a retard.
Yep.
So I wanted him to have the retard helmet, and it kept putting him in construction helmets. Like
Yeah.
I was that was the hardest part for me to fix, was to get a helmet that didn't look like a construction helmet. And I finally figured it out because I had a moment and I went, this needs to be a hockey helmet. That's the closest thing to the big white stereotypical helmet that we're all thinking of. That because I tried saying motorcycle helmet and just put a full face motorcycle helmet on the guy, and I'm like, that doesn't
Hmm.
work. Now you can't tell who it's supposed to be. It's just some guy in a motorcycle helmet. And then I was like, okay, let's tweak it a little bit more, tweak it a little bit more. That'll work because an AI generated hockey helmet actually does kind of look like the white helmet that everybody thinks of when you say this kid wears a helmet on the bus. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I mean, it's kind of mean, I know, but it tied into the theme of the thing. So,
well, I will volunteer my services to the betterment of your to the betterment of your podcast if you need any help with something, because
well,
I'm starting to get good at this,
I
stuff.
have a
So
very specific skill set.
yes, that's right. And doing stupid things.
Yeah.
That's right in
Well,
my wheelhouse.
as I say, doing things for shits and giggles that came out. So I was gonna say I have a skill set of talking, but apparently I don't.
Yeah.
Um, although
But yeah, it's like as long as this stuff keeps in amusing me, I'll keep doing it. Because it's like I don't know how many times I've sat and I'm playing back one of my videos or reading one of the stories, and it's like I just sit and giggle like a little kid.
what's that? Sorry.
Your wife's like, smell this.
Okay. Yeah, I think she's got a candle business,
So
and
it's in those
I
interesting
think
things.
that's a new candle.
You ever notice that a woman hands you something to smell, it always smells good, but when a guy does it, it smells awful?
The majority of the time, yeah. I might have a slightly different dynamic on that, just in the culinary industry because we still do that. Oh my, oh, smell this.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that, I do occasionally get the whole like, here, come here, check this, and then it's like, okay, yeah, I'm getting hints of this and that and the other, and or like one of my personal favorites was years ago. I was working at this banquet facility, and I got somebody, but it wasn't in a bad way. It was because I did the like, hey, come here, smell this, and I was making uh, peanut butter banana bombs. I was calling him the Elvis, right? Because
Oh yeah, because
you like
he
peanut
liked
butter
peanut butter
bacon
banana
banana
sandwich.
sandwiches.
Yeah.
So that's where the smell of this comes into play. So what I had did was I made a banana mousse for the bomb, and then I made a dark chocolate cake for the cake layer, but I chopped up bacon and folded it into the dark chocolate, and then I melted Reese's peanut butter chips and poured that over the top to make the shell.
Yeah.
So,
So
but I'm making the cake, and I got this dark ass batter, and I'm like, hey, come here for a minute, smell this. Like, what do you mean? And I'm holding a spoon of brown shit up to this kid's
yeah.
face, like, come here, smell this. Tell me what it smells like. Do I have to? Like, it's nothing bad. I'm making a dessert. Just smell it, dude. He's
Yeah.
and he leans over and he goes, smells like bacon. I'm like, that's because there's bacon in it, Slick. Okay, cool. If you can smell the bacon, you'll be able to taste the bacon. That's all I needed. You can go.
Yeah.
And yeah, it actually, like I said, it came out phenomenally. Because what I did was I cooked the bacon like crispy, not burnt, but very, all the fat was pretty much rendered out of it. And then I put it in a food processor and ran it till it was powder. So instead of chunks of bacon, it was just if bacon infusing the flavor of the cake. It was
Huh.
wonderful.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna piss people off when I say this, but I don't think sweet and savory should go together. I'm not a big
Oh
I'm not a big fan of,
no, it's
like
about balance. That's the thing.
I'm not a fan of like bacon, ice cream with bacon in it. I
Well, no,
just
so that's different. That's not
I just don't I don't like honey glazed ham. It's just I think it's wrong.
okay. I can understand that. I don't usually do glazed ham. I don't like that kind of I don't like crust on my meat like
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
But
here's one
but
for
what I
you.
will do is I will put pineapple rings in the bottom of the pan and then put the ham on top of it so that it infuses it. But
Oh,
that
so
just helps keep it moist.
pineapple doesn't belong on pizza.
No, it doesn't.
I will die on that hill.
Well, I was saying, anything else in particular you want to hit? I mean,
Oh, I think we've covered everything. The whole
yeah,
gambit.
yep. Well. as I said before, you've got an open door anytime you want to shoot the shit or hang out or
Oh yeah,
whatever. I mean, just so you know. And as I said last time, that nobody ever hears because it's the lost episode.
lost
This is
episode.
this
Yep,
is now part of the lore. I'll have all the show notes and the links. It's forcedvalor.com, Forced Valor Radio on YouTube, JD the Bot Guy on X.
yep, all over the place.
And
We
like I said,
uh,
all the links will be in the notes.
we got Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that. So it's not hard to find. So
Excellent. And
you start out with a website, you can find everything there.
yeah, that's what I always say. That's why I got a website, so I don't have to tell you how to find everything else.
Right.
But that's just me though. I'm a grump. All right. Well, I guess thanks for sitting down with me to redo this and
Yeah.
this one actually, yeah, you're right. I think we went a little less time this one, a little more coherent, a little less bourbon.
Yeah, for sure.
And I hope I wasn't too tedious in my ramblings.
Nope.
Yeah,
I
I
think there was
mean,
a lot less of it this time.
well, I mean,
I do have one thing that I could put up here, and it's kind of a teaser because we're at December 12th time of recording. I do have so I put out my episodes on the YouTube channel on Wednesdays, and it just so happens that uh, Christmas Eve is a Wednesday this year. So I
hmm,
have I have a special Christmas episode coming out on Christmas Eve. I'm not gonna say
not
what
gonna
it
spoil
is.
it.
Not gonna spoil it, but I do have a special episode coming out for
Uh,
Christmas.
I
And
think I might have a guess, so it's gonna be
yep,
interesting to see if I'm right. So,
yep. So we it was a a suggestion from a fan. So I do take those. I take fan suggestions. We have a place on the website where people can do that.
submit your
So
Brandon Herrera's Valor
yep,
suggestions.
and there's been a couple of them. So I do read them all. A lot of times people will post an entire story. It's like, no, I don't want a story. I want a story idea.
I want
Uh,
bullet points.
yeah, just give me the high points and I'll fill in the gaps. But yeah,
All
it's
right, cool. Well, I'm looking forward to it, so that'll be cool. And all right, groovy. I guess we'll put a pin in this one and say that's what we had to say.
yeah.